I never meant to look at her the way I did, but some feelings don't ask for permission. I was 24 when it happened, fresh out of college, working at a dead-end job, living in the same small town I grew up in. My best friend since childhood was Marcus. We did everything together. His family was my second family. His mom, Catherine, was the woman who fed me dinner when my own parents worked late. She asked about my grades. She showed up to my high school graduation. She was supposed to be off limits in every possible way. But somewhere between adolescence and adulthood, something shifted. I didn't notice it at first. Maybe I didn't want to. Catherine was 41, divorced for 3 years. She had this quiet grace about her, dark hair that fell just past her shoulders, eyes that seemed tired but kind. She laughed easily, but there was always something sad beneath it, something unfinished. I started noticing her differently about 6 months before the snowstorm. It was small things, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she was nervous, the way her voice softened when she talked about the past, the way she looked at me sometimes, like she was trying to figure something out. Marcus never noticed. He was too busy with his girlfriend, his new job in the city, his life moving forward. I was stuck. And maybe that's why I kept going back to his house even when he wasn't there. Maybe that's why I offered to help Catherine fix her porch railing, or clean out her garage, or stay for coffee that always turned into 2 hours of conversation. She talked to me like I mattered, not like a kid, not like her son's friend, just like a person. "You're going to leave this town someday," she said once, her hands wrapped around a mug. "You're too smart to stay here." "Maybe I don't want to leave," I said. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. That's what I said once, too. I wanted to ask what she meant. I wanted to ask a lot of things, but I never did. The snowstorm hit on a Friday in late January. Marcus was supposed to come home for the weekend, but he called last minute. His girlfriend had gotten sick. He wasn't coming. "Can you check on my mom?" he asked. "The forecast says it's going to be bad. Just make sure she has everything she needs." I said yes. Of course I did. I drove to Catherine's house that afternoon. The snow was already falling thick and heavy. The roads were slick. The sky was the color of steel. She opened the door in jeans and an oversized sweater, her hair pulled back in a loose bun. She looked surprised. "What are you doing here?" I said, "Marcus asked me to check on you, make sure you're okay." She shook her head, smiling a little. "I'm fine, but you should get home before the roads get worse." I looked over my shoulder. The snow was coming down harder now. Wind howled through the trees. "I don't think I'm making it home," I said. She hesitated, then she stepped aside. "Come in." The house smelled like cinnamon and firewood. She had the fireplace going. A book lay open on the couch. The television played low in the background, some news channel tracking the storm. "They're saying it's going to be one of the worst in decades. The power might go out," she said, closing the door behind me. "Do you have supplies?" "Enough." She walked to the kitchen. "Are you hungry?" I wasn't, but I said yes anyway. We ate soup at her small kitchen table. We talked about nothing important, the storm, work, Marcus, but there was something different in the air, a tension that hadn't been there before. Or maybe it had always been there, and I was just noticing it now. The power went out around 8. The house plunged into darkness. Catherine lit candles. We moved to the living room, closer to the fireplace. The wind rattled the windows. Snow piled up against the glass. "You'll have to stay the night," she said quietly. "It's not safe to drive." "I can sleep on the couch." She nodded, but she didn't move. She just sat there in the firelight, her knees pulled up to her chest, staring into the flames. "Are you okay?" I asked. She didn't answer right away. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. "Do you ever feel like you're living the wrong life?" The question caught me off guard. I didn't know what to say. "I don't know. Maybe." She turned to look at me. The firelight flickered across her face. She looked younger in that moment, vulnerable. "I think about it all the time," she said, her hands wrapped around a mug. what I could have done differently, the choices I made, the ones I didn't make. "You have a good life," I said. "Marcus loves you, you have a home, you're lonely," she finished. "I'm lonely." The word hung in the air between us. I should have said something comforting, something safe, but I didn't. "I'm lonely too," I said. She stared at me for a long moment. Then she looked away. "You're young. You'll figure it out." "You're not old." She laughed, but it was bitter. "I'm old enough." "You're 41. That's not old." "It feels old." She pulled the blanket tighter around her shoulders. "Especially when you realize you've spent half your life waiting for something that's never going to come." "What were you waiting for?" She didn't answer. The fire crackled. The wind howled. The silence stretched between us, heavy and thick. And then she said it. "We'll have to keep each other warm." She said it so quietly I almost didn't hear her. She didn't look at me when she said it. Her eyes stayed on the fire, but I heard the tremor in her voice, the uncertainty. My heart was pounding. I knew what she meant. I knew what she was offering, or asking, or confessing. "Catherine?" "Don't," she said quickly. "Don't say anything. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry." But she didn't move away, and neither did I. "I think about you." The words came out before I could stop them. She closed her eyes. "You can't." "I know. Marcus is your best friend." "I know." "This is wrong." "I know." She opened her eyes and looked at me, really looked at me. And I saw everything in that look. The loneliness, the desire, the guilt, the fear. "Then why does it feel like the only thing that makes sense?" she whispered. I didn't have an answer. The space between us felt impossibly small. I could hear her breathing. I could feel the warmth from her skin. The firelight cast shadows across her face. She looked beautiful, heartbreaking. I reached out slowly. My hand found hers under the blanket. She flinched, but didn't pull away. Her fingers were cold. I held them gently, warming them. "We can't do this," she said, but her hand tightened around mine. "I know. It'll ruin everything." "I know." But neither of us let go. We sat like that for a long time, just holding hands, not speaking. The storm raged outside. The fire burned low. And somewhere in that silence, something shifted. A line was crossed that we couldn't uncross. "Tell me to stop," I said. She didn't. I moved closer. She didn't pull away. I could see the conflict in her eyes, the war between what she wanted and what she knew was right. "Please," she whispered, but I didn't know if she was asking me to stop or to keep going. I leaned in, slowly, giving her every chance to pull away. Her breath hitched, her eyes fluttered closed, and then her hand came up to my chest, not pushing me away, just resting there, feeling my heartbeat. "If we do this," she said, her voice shaking, "everything changes. Maybe everything needs to change." She opened her eyes. "You don't understand what you're saying." "Then help me understand." She shook her head. "I'm supposed to be the adult here. I'm supposed to know better. What if knowing better doesn't matter?" "It always matters." But her hand was still on my chest. Her face was still inches from mine. "Catherine, don't say my name like that." "Like what?" "Like you want me." "I do want you." She made a sound that was half laugh, half sob. "You're going to hate me for this." "I could never hate you." "Marcus will." The name hit like cold water. Reality crashed back. I pulled away slightly, but she grabbed my hand, holding on. "Don't," she said. "Don't leave." "What do you want me to do?" "I don't know." Tears were forming in her eyes now. "I don't know anything anymore." I wiped a tear from her cheek. She leaned into my touch, and in that moment, I understood. She wasn't just lonely. She was drowning, and I was the only person who saw it. "We don't have to do anything," I said softly. "We can just sit here. That's enough." But it wasn't enough, not for either of us. She kissed me first.
tentative, searching, like she was asking a question she was afraid to hear the answer to. I kissed her back, gentle, reverent, like she was something precious that might break. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't desperate. It was slow and aching and full of everything we'd been holding back. When we finally pulled apart, she was crying. "I'm a terrible person," she whispered. "You're not. I'm a terrible mother. Marcus doesn't define you. He's my son. And I'm not a child." She looked at me with so much pain in her eyes. "This can't happen again. Okay? I mean it. Okay?" But we both knew we were lying. We didn't sleep together that night, not in the way the words usually mean. We just held each other on the couch, wrapped in blankets, listening to the storm.